Welcome back everyone to Zuma Fan. So I saw this video by Meats on Zuma, and it got me thinking after I finished it, does Zuma deserve better? Does he deserve justice? Well, let's talk about it. Let's start with the design. The design of Zuma, his gear, his vehicles, and all that is easily by far the best in the entire show, and I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me on that. All of his gear, when it comes to every sub-series, even the normal rescues, all of it is fantastic. Mission Paw, even Big Truck Pups, he has my favorite truck design out of any of the characters. And this goes for pretty much everything. When he's in the air patroller as well, and he has the air suit on, it has got the best design out of all of them. And of course, as you know, my personal favorite being Mission Paw. He has the best suit he has ever gotten in the entire show, being equipped with sonar and a drone and all that. So when it comes to Zuma and his design throughout the show and even in the movie, this character just seems to get all the best stuff. And I always just love this character's design in general. I also love the color scheme as well, being orange and blue. And something really about it, I just absolutely love it. So this character has by far the best designed vehicles, gear in the entire series. And I don't think there's going to be a single person in the entire fandom that's going to disagree with that. So Zuma's character is a hard one for me. Everyone seems to really like this character, and I'm glad. But they point out things that I don't really see much of. So a lot of them really like Zuma's chilled, laid-back personality. And I do agree, but the problem is that that chilled, laid-back personality isn't really seen that much. And it's been a really long time, especially in the newer seasons where a lot of the characters, if not all of them, don't really have much to really show for who they actually are. Zuma is also on that list. He never really gets to show off who he actually is and his personality. And of course, I would agree that Zuma's character being chilled, laid back, and all of that is definitely one of the reasons why he is so likable and relatable as well. And there's a lot of moments throughout the entire show where Zuma really shows off how relatable he actually is. During one episode in season 4, Pups Save a Blimp, Zuma points out that this is a small tub and all the pups decide to go over and drink from it anyways, even though he is sitting in it. And he makes this good face, and of course it's really funny, but at the same time it's also relatable, because if any of us were in that situation, we would probably react the same way as well. And the entire episode of Pups Save a Pool Day, and when you look at him in there, you really get to understand the character. Him and Sky play around with the kids, waiting for the water to be fixed so that the pool can be filled up. And you really get to see Zuma's character here. But as I said before, in the newer seasons, all the life and personality has been sucked out of everyone, including Zuma. So I really do have a difficulty really understanding who the character actually is. And most of the fandom is just going off of what they actually remember, because if I were a new viewer, I wouldn't know a single thing about him because there's just nothing there. And the only thing that makes him unique is the fact that he says dude every time he addresses somebody. And once again, that is very unique because no one else actually does that, but that's about it. And of course, once again, I actually like that about him. I'm so glad that the newer seasons at least kept that, kept him saying dude whenever he talks to somebody, because if he didn't and he just started talking to people, like everybody else, there wouldn't be anything about him other than his design. But he is slowly falling down to everyone's level where you're not going to be able to recognize him at all from anybody else. And of course, that is a huge problem. So I really do feel like as if the fandom really is just going off of their memory of who he actually was and what his personality was, rather than just seeing how he actually is right now. And who he is right now, I don't even know. So Zuma's job was always a very relatable one for me. I've always loved swimming. It's always something that I've always really liked to do. And also, I've always been fascinated and interested in the oceans and seas and all that, because you never know what's lurking in the bottom, and you're always interested to find out. And it always sends shivers down my spine whenever I hear some creepy sound being recorded from somewhere in the deep. So I've always loved the ocean, and so when I saw the character Zuma for the first time, I always really enjoyed him, simply for the fact that he had the job that I've always wished I had. But right now, Zuma's job is a very difficult one when it comes to the show. The problem is that no one really knows how to find missions or things for Zuma to do. Even though they live in a place called Adventure Bay where they're surrounded by water, it seems that most, if not all, the Paw Patrol members can already do the water missions for Zuma anyways. So we have the sub-series Sea Patrol, and a lot of the characters are chosen, and Zuma is chosen, but once again, I feel like as if having all the characters being able to do what Zuma can do really just makes Zuma pointless. And in fact, when Rocky got this little barge thing, when his vehicle can turn to like this little barge and float out to sea, which seems weird to give Rocky that ability simply because he's afraid of water, so that does seem weird to give him that, but they gave him that anyways, and he is able to do the things that Zuma was already capable of doing. So I feel like as if the writers themselves don't actually really like the character, and that is a shame, because when it comes to water rescues, you think that the water dog, his character and his job is mostly made to do these missions on water. That is his job. They seem to have these water missions, and they write in every other character but him. So for me, I feel like as if Zuma isn't used correctly here. They seem to give all the other characters missions on the water when they literally have a water dog Zuma here for them to use. I don't know if the writers and director hate the character, but they are just not using him, and I don't know why. Zuma's speech impairment is the one thing that the entire fandom thinks that Zuma actually had. So I don't believe that this was written to his character at all. In fact, I don't even believe that it was even meant to be a part of the character. If that were to be the case, then they would try to find kid actors with speech impairment to play him after Alex Thorne. I believe that the thing is that Alex Thorne had speech impediment, and this, I believe, to the director and the writers, it made them feel like as if he was young, because if you notice that a lot of kids, really young kids in media, can't really pronounce words correctly, it gave Zuma this very childish feel and this level of cuteness as well. So I believe that that is why Alex Thorne was hired. And I don't believe that when it was in the script that it said that Zuma has to have speech impediment. I don't believe that that was ever a thing. That was just something that Alex Thorne had, and everyone just basically put it into the character. And when they changed all the actors for Zuma, and none of them had speech impediment, it just got lost. And now everyone wishes that he still has speech impediment, even though I don't believe that was even a part of him anyways. But if we actually think about his speech impediment and all that, I don't know if his speech impediment is actually a disability or not. But if it is, then I think having the speech impediment stay with Zuma is actually something that would make his character extremely relatable. Now, I already talked earlier about his relatability, but this would make him extra relatable. Because there's a lot of people out there, kids, adults, and all that, that have disabilities. And a lot of them have difficulties living their lives with disabilities. So I think that Zuma having speech impediment, and with that, he does not allow it to control his life. And that he is able to stay chill and just have the best time no matter what, would be a very great thing for children and adults with disabilities. To have a character like that, but not allow what they have to control them or to bring them down, can really help people that have issues like that, help power through and bring them up, and to really push them forward in life. And that would make Zuma kind of amazing in a way. A really great character that not many kids shows are willing to have. And I think that would actually be great. But at the same time, I have to look at what the show is showing us, and as far as I can see, that's not meant to be a part of his character, because if that were to be the case, if that was written into his character, they would have to find actors to replace Alex Thorne that would have his same problem, where they would have speech impediment just like him. But because that is not the case, I can't come to the conclusion that that is meant to be a part of the character. And that could sound very sad to some people, but I believe that that is just the case. So, does Zuma deserve the hashtag Justice for Zuma? Yes, I think so. His character doesn't really seem to have personality anymore these days, and his job seems to be taken by other characters, and he's not used very much, and he doesn't have speech impediment anymore. All this is a shame, because if the writers took care of the character, I do believe that this character could really go places and really inspire people. And it is a shame to watch them be on the sidelines, but this is just how it is. So I do hope that this hashtag does get out, does spread, and everyone gets to see it. And hopefully with this, we can inspire Nickelodeon, the writers and the director, to make the decision to bring Zuma back into the highlight and bring him onto the team and make him a true member of the Paw Patrol.